What's up, YouTube? What's going on? We are getting everything set up, and we are getting there.
Oh, we're on stream.
We are on stream, yeah, so behave.
Get out of the way, Jeff.
All right.
I need my.
Let's talk about
I need
Jeff's
the tip
week.
of my stand to touch the tip of your stand.
No. I mean, JGR did win, so.
Oh, gosh.
Everything changed when the Toyotas attacked.
Man. What a race, huh?
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Pocono did not disappoint.
No, for sure. All right, so
And no
race
rain.
review, what do we think about it? We do need to do a silly season section.
Hilly Hegan.
I'll just throw that in there. We can throw it wherever we want. Let's see.
About it, not about it. It's ready.
So one I have is the caution come out too late.
Yeah, I think we start maybe a little more
Farther up. Matt was wanting to do
chronological order.
Mine was wanting to do
I wanted to
Justin
do
Haley.
Justin Haley to.
But that would be under silly season stuff, though.
We see. I already discussed this, but I don't like the whole. That's the only thing we could talk about in silly season.
Nope.
Oh, no.
SVG.
There's
SVG.
tons of
Who
stuff.
replaces Justin Haley?
Who's filling the 10? Who's replacing Justin Haley?
Is
Hey,
Truex
maybe
going
I'm
to
wrong.
retire?
I'll let you guys follow it, and I'll just add in what I can. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
No.
All right, so other about it, not about it topics. So did we
Let's
want
see.
to do
Ooh, cars flattening out, bottoming out. First time I've actually noticed it since
That's an about it, not about
beginning
it?
of. I'm just
I don't
trying
know.
to bring up.
That's a
topics
race
here.
topic. I think number one, Austin Dillon mad at John.
who was in the wrong?
I think you just Austin Dillon mad at Tyler Reddick. That opens you up to talk about either way. That could be one.
Someone likes the Vols koozie. It's Gustavo.
See, I felt like this race was a perfect amount of like laps, mileage, time. This was a good, solid race.
Yeah, that'd be for race review. All right, so our about it's not about it. Let's see. So you have Austin Dillon mad. Denny Hamlin says it was Kyle Larson's fault.
Ain't about it.
It was his own fault. He crashed himself.
You also have the late race caution. I mean, we're going to talk about those three a lot, I think. I mean, that's three pretty good ones.
Yeah, I think we're good on about it, not about it now.
Truck, Xfinity, anything? I don't think so. They're good races, but I don't think there's any controversial.
Oh, freaking Josh Berry falling apart.
Junior Motor. Well, I mean, it's not about it. We can talk about it, though.
Yeah, Josh.
Junior Motorsports
Motorsports
falling
did
apart
what they
again.
normally do and fell apart at the end of the race.
They look
Crazy.
good,
Gave
and
away
then
a
they
win.
just start to fall apart.
Yet again.
Barry dominated the whole race and lost on the
Truck
last
race,
lap.
I don't remember a lot about.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was good, but it
It
wasn't
was
anything
a
crazy.
typical truck race. Like, I was like, all right, it is what it is.
Do we have a question of the week?
Yep.
All right, so
It's a good one. It's oddly enough, it's perfect.
so I don't have a whole lot for race review topics, like just general topics. Do you guys just want to go for it
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and just say, all right, so let me cue up music, and then that way we can test my intro.
What's going to be the intro voice of the week?
Hold
Sorry.
on. You threw me off. Now I have to come up with a.
Sorry.
Well, just Pocono Racing delivers an exciting races
I'm
this
not
week.
pointing to the microphones. I think I
She'd be like, Denny Hamlin wins by not touching anybody. Puts two Hendrick cars in the wall.
Here we go. The cleanest race that Hamlin has ever run. Doesn't touch a single person and somehow wrecks
That's
multiple
hilarious.
cars.
That's funny.
Somehow wrecked.
Nah, so
Somehow wrecks the Hendrick voice.
please.
Pocono delivers an exciting race. I messed up already. It's races. Pocono delivers exciting races this week. The Cup race has it all, including Denny Hamlin winning his 50th win and his 7th at Pocono. We are all here for the speed. Yeah, that worked.
So, like, DJ, are we allowed to swear?
I mean, so as I have said, it is up to you. That is a personal choice that I cannot make for you.
Okay, but like being like flagged.
As long as it doesn't happen in like the first 8 seconds, we're pretty
Don't
good.
go crazy, bro.
No, seriously, on YouTube, on YouTube, it's the first 8 seconds.
No, I'm not trying to be like ratchet or anything. The only thing I'm
sure?
saying is like
No, I am
Matt,
sure.
Matt, it's gonna be like
your
that.
intro would, if you added an F-bomb in there, it would kind of be funnier.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be, but I'm not doing
Matt,
that.
it's like that meme you showed us earlier.
All right, you
With
guys
the Call of
ready?
Duty one where he's like, "Oh my god!"
All right, you guys ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'll go ahead and get us queued up.
Who
All right.
spelled Pocono Pocano?
I can't spell Pocono to
There's
save my life.
3 O's.
Okay, cool. Pocono.
No.
Pocono.
Listen, we're,
That should be the intro.
Denny, I'm like, gotta
right.
wreck 'em.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
gotta wreck 'em all.
It's
That's
me,
perfect.
You.
Pocono.
All right, here we go.
Pocono.
Pocono delivers exciting races this week. The Cup race has it all, including Denny Hamlin winning his 50th win and his 7th at Pocono. We are all here for the speed. What's going on, guys? My name is DJ, and I'm with Here for the Speed. Let's go ahead and get our intros out of the way because there is a lot to talk about today. Jeff. Well, sorry, you.
And who's next?
And next.
My name is Jeff.
Just
If
Jeff.
you didn't figure it out.
Just Jeff.
Just Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, just Jeff.
That's up. Denny Hamlin's biggest hater, Jacob.
What is up? It is Matthew, Brad Keselowski's #1 fan.
Yeah, he had a great day.
He, ups and downs.
Ups and downs.
It is what it is.
Like the
downs.
Pocono Mountains.
The Pocono Mountains. The Pocono.
like- it's
no,
like
no,
the-
no.
It's like the creases on the Hawaiian rolls. They go up
Yeah.
and down.
Kuzman's like, I just made it home in time to watch the last 30 laps and wish I hadn't. Now I'm all worked up. I love it. Yeah. So, man, I don't know if I want to say
What
the
a
word
race.
thriller, but man, what a race! That's just
Jeff Gluck just tweeted that this race had 11 cautions, most since 2005.
for this race or in general.
This race.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Most since 2005 for Pocono.
yeah. Basically, we had
Pretty
Coda
well.
turn 1 all
Which
over
is
again.
saying something because Pocono had 2 dates forever. I think this is only the second year of one date.
Oh, I
so
think you're right. Yeah.
I think COVID, they did
They-
the 2 on one
The two-
weekend.
yeah,
And then,
the 2 mini races. Yeah.
yeah.
We need
So,
to go back.
man, hats off to Pocono. One race is really working out. Sold out camping, sold out grandstands, sold out
Put on
suites.
an amazing show
Yeah,
for
race
all
was
the
great.
all of the different
Completely
races.
redid the infield area where Victory Lane used to be. They rebuilt a whole new Victory Lane, and they created like a whole new like viewing
Yeah.
platform kind of above pit road.
And
Pretty
they
cool.
and the best part is they got to walk away to that and
Bro, that was the loudest booze I've heard.
I think the
since
last-
Chase Elliott got wrecked by Denny Hamlin. at
I was gonna
Martinsville.
say I think the last one was because of Hamlin, maybe his incident with Bowman at what was it, Martinsville?
that was a
What's
pretty big one too.
Yeah, that one was pretty rough. So overall, so talking about, let's kind of hit the topics of the weekend. So truck race, Xfinity, Cup
ARCA race,
ARCA
pushed
race.
to yesterday morning, 8:30. So we had a triple header yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't see. I did watch some of those.
Me and
some
Matt
ARCA.
got
Yeah, I
together
did.
at 12 o'clock and watched racing for like 8 hours.
I watched the ARCA race. I'm gonna be honest. I think they should do that more often. If they're gonna start doing ARCA and have it the same
like
weekends,
combining them more.
Same day.
as the Premier 3, they should definitely start doing.
I think
earlier
didn't they
mornings.
used to, but they kept running into problems where they wrecked so many times and cautions it was running into.
They used to
issues.
do a couple double headers, and
Yeah,
that
but
would
I
end
mean,
up
if
being
you're
a
gonna give
problem.
them
But I mean, if
5
you're
hours.
gonna shorten the race, shorten the ARCA, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Was anyone else like tripping out with how skewed those cars were?
oh, it's
The ARCA
wild.
cars?
Yeah.
Dude, that was messing with my head.
Remember how the Cup cars used to be like that?
Yeah, I know. It was messing with me. I'm
You
just like looking
reminded
at that straight shot down the long straight, and all the cars are just like skewed, and I'm like, oh man, this car must have wrecked. And then I'm like, no, they wrecked. Oh, everyone wrecked. It
All I
must
could
be.
think about was like the new Hummers where they have like the
crab walk.
Yeah, I was gonna try to tweet something where it has like a crab's like sideways and be like,
Dude,
"This
there
is
was
odd."
there was legit a point where like they started turning into the turn, and I swear the car, like the nose of the car and the back of the car went together at the same time. Like they didn't actually like pivot. Like it was super weird.
No, it's super wild.
Yeah. So all right. So ARCA,
I mean,
Good.
there wasn't much.
It was pretty
about
good.
it.
Not much
it
talk
was,
about,
It was
but-
definitely. I mean, it wasn't like a barn burner, but it was. I think we've seen a trend here as the years gone on. Like ARCA's gotten better this year.
It has.
The racing has
yes.
gotten better, especially on the big tracks like your Daytona, your Talladegas, your Poconos.
Who's
We're
driving the
seeing
one-
better races.
Who's driving the 2 car? Was it Sanchez?
I think so.
That's a truck.
I
Two
thought-
truck.
There's someone driving the number 2 car. Hold on, give me 1 second. I might be able to pull it up. Anyway, the number 2 car and Jesse Lev, the number 20 car. Those were the 2 cars to beat.
Oh, well,
But-
Jesse Love is the car to beat.
Yeah,
that
he's
was
gonna be
his.
the car to
That
beat.
was his 5th win this year in ARCA.
I think so.
Yeah, he's on fire.
But the 2 car got into an accident. It is what it is. He just had damage to it, so he wasn't competitive. After
Frankie,
that,
he wrecked, I think, didn't he?
No,
He
he had
had
engine problems.
engine- there
Well,
was
he had
something.
electrical issues. I think the battery got disconnected on a restart from a hard hit from the rear, and then just kind of struggled with gremlins the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's kind of like it's been wild because he started off really strong, and the last 3 or 4 races he seemed to have a lot of problems.
I was gonna say I don't know that it. I wonder.
Not Rex. Just,
I don't
just
know enough
spinning
about
out.
ARCA. Like, is he with a strong ARCA team, or is that kind
A
of
decent team.
Decent team. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so I don't know how that would compare.
I mean,
if
it's
that's
not
maybe something-
Venturini Motorsports. you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, they
He's
were
dominant.
I read something that they were thinking about pulling out of some races due to sponsorship issues and stuff like that.
They were.
Oh, really?
they-
Well.
Frankie was saying
Yeah.
they were struggling to find sponsors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ARCA.
Yeah. Which is weird because he said that they actually turned a couple of people away because they figured they would be like locked in. And he goes, they even had some people they've been reaching out to recently that they were like, oh, we thought you would be booked all year. And so like they agreed to work with other people already. So in some ways, I think they may have kind of shot themselves in the foot there.
yeah.
But
I mean, it sounds like it.
yeah, I mean, I don't, I mean,
And that's unfortunate because their engine problems and mechanical gremlins are, not making them very sellable right now.
yeah, that's not helping. So
I mean, ARCA's known for people getting their ride bought by rich parents or some
Yeah.
kind of connection to a big company that funds your ride.
I
all
will
year.
say I can respect him because he's even said like, yeah, he's like, I could write a check and pay for all this. He's like, I got the money, but he's like, I want to do it to prove that like
Yeah.
I belong here and that I
point.
he wants to do it right. So
I mean,
I can respect
I've
that.
seen enough this year that I hope he gets picked up by a truck team.
I hope so. That'd be awesome. I think that would be good.
I
So
mean, he's doing pretty decent.
speaking of trucks, how was the truck race? Truck race was I thought
Pretty good.
Okay,
I didn't think it was the best that we've seen in recent memory in the last couple of years, but it was a pretty solid race.
yeah. I only caught I think like the last little bit of it. And
Yeah,
again,
that's pretty much where I was at too. I
Yeah.
didn't get to catch it.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
a
I was busy.
benchmark for me, and this goes back to when I was a kid at Bristol, and you'd watch qualifying and see people spin out at qualifying at Bristol. It was a common thing, happened all the time. They just showed how hard it was to drive the car at that track. So if you get into a long green flag run and somebody spins out just because it's hard to drive, to me that just shows that the vehicles are hard to drive. Guys are pushing really hard. Track's hard to race on. And you get some of those natural cautions, and that to me breeds a natural, exciting race. You don't need false caution. You don't need, debris cautions or whatever, quote unquote, whatever. But I thought it was a decent race. It was a good race. you know.
yeah.
Yeah, it was also, I think it was Kyle Busch's 100th
win.
win.
100th win in trucks.
Yep, was it KBM? KBM? Yeah,
I think it was his 100th win in trucks.
it was. Yeah,
That's wild.
that was
that's-
pretty cool.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
that
easy mode on
Well-
NASCAR Heat.
Yeah, right. Moving on to Xfinity, I thought Xfinity that was a pretty good race.
Well, Josh Berry is about to put down a Martin Truex style
He was.
domination until he lost it in the last
Fell
corner.
apart, man. There's
Yeah.
nothing about that. He fell
Hendrick
apart.
Motorsports at one time were leading 1-2-3, and they just what a meltdown.
Wasn't that? It was like a year or two ago. It was Kyle Larson was leading on the last lap, and something happened to him
Flat
too.
tire.
He got a
Flat
Yeah,
tire,
flat
though. I
tire,
don't really
yeah.
blame
Yeah,
him.
Blew a tire.
Bowman passed him like right,
Yep.
literally the last turn.
Yep.
Yep.
So I mean,
Crazy.
it happens, but man, it was a good race. I mean, I thought it was good, and then I mean, definitely, I wouldn't say it's one of the best Xfinity races we've had, but it was a very,
It was
very
a good race, though. It was
very good
entertaining.
race.
It was very entertaining.
I mean, I was on the edge of my seat watching it, and then we get to today, the Cup race.
What a race.
Man, so I was a little worried because the Xfinity race, I would say the first 2 stages was very much a fuel game, strategy kind of game. So it was not super exciting. Like obviously there was things to watch, but there wasn't a lot of crazy racing until you got to stage 3. And then that's when it started really amping up.
Yeah.
This race, the Cup race, I felt like, I mean, maybe with the exception of stage 1, where everyone's still kind of trying to figure out their place in their car, that once we got into like stage 2, man, that's where I feel like the race really picked up.
Yeah, I like where Pocono is kind of falling into a niche of, it has the strategy. You really play it differently than a lot of races because of the way the stages are laid out, the way the track races, the way everything is. It lends into the first 30 lap stage. There's not a lot of strategy. You're just going to run to the end of the stage.
Right.
Maybe short pit it if you don't want to collect the stage points and maintain track position. But then stage 2 and 3, I mean, it's all over the place.
Especially with all the cautions.
Yeah, you could put it in the middle. You could try to run it really long and
What's
only
up,
pit
Mark?
twice more. There's a lot of options there's just a lot of options, a lot of different ways to tackle it.
Yeah.
So let me throw this in there. Stage 1, Joey Logano won. Martin Truex Jr. was second, and Denny Hamlin was third. Tyler Reddick fourth. AJ Allmendinger was fifth. Michael McDowell sixth. Bubba seventh. Justin Haley, Chris Buescher, and Eric Jones 8th, 9th, and 10th. And how many of those did we actually see finish the race?
Tyler Reddick, Denny
Pretty
Hamlin.
high. Yeah, all
Truex.
the Toyotas.
I'll say
pretty
the
much.
Toyotas, yeah.
But the only Chevy that was really up
Bubba
there.
did okay too.
Bubba finished 11th this race.
Oh, he must have fallen off there at the end.
he
He was
restarted
the
up there.
lowest Toyota, but all the Toyotas this race finished basically top 6, and then Bubba at 11th.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Way to wrap it up.
You want to talk
Man.
about Toyota domination?
Yeah.
Holy cow! So yeah, they were
amazing.
all in stage.
It's amazing when
one.
you start taking out the competition.
And
how-
then at stage 2, there was another there was another 5 in stage 2 that were Toyota. So yeah, Toyota was
they were definitely the cars to have.
Pocono-
they showed up.
Pocono continues its trend of, in previous years since we started stage racing, the race winner has only ever won at least a stage twice.
Yes.
That's it.
Oh, wow.
At Pocono.
I didn't
At
know
Po-
that.
at
One was
Pocono.
Joey, and stage 2 was Kyle Larson.
So
Race
we
winner,
continue
Denny
that trend today of typically if you
Jeez.
win the stages, you're typically not going to be in contention, which, I mean, Kyle Larson was in contention, but
He was right there. So I mean that's all you could have asked
but
for.
Kyle Larson was going to pit before that yellow right
That was
before
wild.
stage 2, stayed out the way that worked out, but still was able to maintain good track position with the restarts and got up to the front.
Yeah.
But
So
his other option was either pit and get penalized, which
Yeah, no, I mean,
he had to
couldn't-
pull
couldn't
out.
pit,
Oh,
yeah.
of
he
course.
had to bail.
yeah, I mean of course. So yeah, I mean I thought it was entertaining. I mean the last 50-ish laps. I don't remember where exactly it started really kind of hitting the fan, but it was around 50 or so, I feel.
Yeah, 40 or 50.
Yeah, somewhere around there where, man, it ramped the amount of tension, the urgency, just everything just really ramped up. Definitely making it really, really interesting. So let me pull up our topics here. Before we kind of have, is there anything else you guys want to specifically highlight in the race before we kind of get into our more opinionated sections? Just about the race in general, things we liked, didn't like, or anything like that?
I mean,
I honestly just Pocono in general. I've said it a few times, but Pocono is one of my favorite racetracks. I just think it's a real driver's course.
I mean, I think today was a very good reason.
It was a really good race.
we
Like,
give-
I kind of
we
hate
give-
not having a doubleheader.
and,
Like
Saturday,
Sunday's
we
a lot
give
of
Matt
fun.
a lot of hell for liking Pocono, but like it always is.
It delivered
it's always
today.
a pretty
It's
good
a fun
race.
It delivered.
Friday, man.
and I don't even think it was for me, it wasn't even the cautions or restarts or whatever. It was just that there was some attrition. There was hard racing throughout the entire pack. I mean, even guys racing for 20th were racing super hard. And then you also had you had just great strategy.
Yeah.
I mean, just a wide variety.
well,
there was like in the end of stage 2, there was 3-4 different strategies being played out.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
I mean,
crazy.
that's exciting.
There
I mean,
was-
we were all like, do you use our garage pick? Do we not? Like, we don't know who's running where. Like, it was
We
just
were
kinda
like all
oh,
watching.
man.
We were all
Stage
watching
two.
the
'Cause then
pits to see
even
who
once
goes in.
stage 2 ended,
Ty
you
Dillon
still
got
had
second.
a bunch of people running on a different strategy at the start of stage 3.
Yeah.
You
Pit
know, when
cycles
they
had
dropped
me
the
messed
green,
up.
it was crazy, man.
Yeah. There
Pit
was.
cycles had me messed up.
Oh, it
for
was-
Sure. I was like, because I had KFB as my garage pick, and I was like, man, do I use him for Chastain, man?
I don't
do I
know,
do
man.
it?
Man,
And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. I was just really confused. I didn't end up doing it, but
you mentioned KFB. So, what a meltdown the last 2 weeks. He's overdriving the car.
oh yeah,
Yeah. He definitely.
Same
is.
thing in New Hampshire. Same thing. Was it
Well,
practice?
I don't know.
or
New Hampshire.
qualifying?
New Hampshire. I think may have the.
What are you doing? He wrecked in qualifying, right?
Yeah,
I think he's
yeah.
used to Toyotas.
These
These are two Toyota tracks, and he's in a Chevy now.
You know,
I'm just gonna say
You might
That
have a
or
point.
I mean, he's already locked. Maybe he's just pushing extra hard.
Could be.
Or it's just again, like we said last week, they're trying stuff.
Trying
be.
stuff.
I mean, why not?
Could be. Could be.
I mean, maybe.
Just
Nah,
trying to
two
find.
Toyota
speed.
tracks
I mean,
right in
I
a
don't.
row.
I mean, I would buy that. Maybe if you go out and wreck in practice because you're trying something new, but to run half the race and then get in the fence and then run 20, 30 more laps and get in the fence again gives me the signs of he's just pushing too hard. And the car just won't. It just won't do it. It won't turn the center.
I don't know who that was. Let me try muting yours.
I blame
It is
Jake.
not you. It is Jeff.
Am I unplugged? Oh.
What a weenie.
Hold on, just keep us playing with that for a second.
All right.
No, but I mean, I pretty much just chalk it down to he's out of a Toyota and to a Chevy.
Nah, I don't buy that at all.
I mean, how you gonna go from second?
He went
last year?
winless last year.
Kyle Busch?
Yes.
No, Kyle Busch had a win last year.
No, he did not.
He won Bristol Dirt. Yes, he did.
Oh, you're right.
I know I'm right.
But
So-
but I mean he had what 2 wins in the last 2 years, and the Bristol Dirt
won
was
3 times
I don't
this
want to
year,
say it was a
hasn't he?
fluke. No, I'm talking about last year.
Last year he only had 1 win.
Bristol Dirt, and it was kind of a fluke.
Hey, he still won.
I mean,
He got
Checkers
are
the
checkers.
cautions, the way everything shook out. He got really everything worked
was
in his
running
favor.
third.
I don't want to say lucky, but everything worked in his favor to get good track position, and then the leaders got wrecked. Well,
But
leader
he
got
still-
wrecked.
He still came in to this race, finished second last year.
well, technically,
No, he didn't. He got disqualified.
Correct.
I mean,
I
but
agree with that, but he still at the end
To
of the
be
race
honest-
crossed the
No, he
finish line
didn't.
second.
That's fine, but he finished 35th.
Okay, well that's saying the same thing to Hamlin. I still consider Hamlin won it last year.
No, he didn't. He got disqualified
Yeah, but he ran it the best.
with an illegal car.
Yeah, well, potato. You can't really.
Oh,
It
okay.
is what it is.
So if Hendrick
His
shows
bumper
up,
could- hey, he
if,
could have
if
tape on it
Hendrick
this
shows up
week,
with
I don't
1,000
know.
horsepower next week and dominate the entire race, it's just fine. They finish
mean,
first.
I'm
I mean,
just-
to be honest, I want 1,000 horsepower.
It's black
so-
and white. You either
finish
are
the race
legal or not
first.
illegal.
If
It's
you
either
get
legal or not
disqualified
illegal.
At the end, you do.
But they didn't. That's fine. He crossed the line first, but NASCAR took all the points away and a bunch of money and
true.
finished them last.
But he still ran second.
Oh, okay. Yes, I agree with both of you. I know I'm going to try to like split this. I agree with both of
DJ,
you.
I need
To
you
be
to pick a
honest,
side.
no. To be honest, did the tape really? Because they were a lot faster
If
than.
it-
I don't think that tape made that big of a difference.
Here's
they proved it
here's
this
Now,
year.
what I'm
it
here's
was
what I'm
illegal.
gonna say.
It was illegal.
They proved it this
After
year.
we worked in the race shop and we heard some of the numbers that they were calling out, tape 1,000% makes a difference.
You think so?
1,000%.
Okay.
How long did we work to get that radiator opening perfectly flush,
It was a few hours.
bro? I'm telling you,
All the
man.
engineers and slinger
And
like,
that's the Xfinity series, which is more tolerant. You see
Yeah.
the Cup cars out there with umbrellas trying to protect the car because it's that sensitive.
That is true.
Not that it's that sensitive, but the tolerances are that tight.
Yeah. Because
Tape makes 1,000% of difference. 1,000%. It wouldn't be there unless it did.
Well, of course, but I mean, I just don't know because they dominated that last race last year,
so
and I don't know that the tape would have made that big of a. I don't know. I'm not a NASCAR engineer, and
I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but it makes a difference.
oh, for sure. I mean,
So,
they're still illegal.
Toyota finished 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Where's the tape?
Well, hold on. It took them a couple hours last year, so give them.
We'll give it a few hours.
Right
this
now,
time.
NASCAR's like
it's
we're
underneath
taking
the
every
wrap.
Toyota back to R&D now.
Guaranteed.
It's underneath the wrap. It's underneath
No,
the wrap.
I mean, I think you see Toyota.
They'll throw
They
Kevin Harvick in there just for fun.
Toyota obviously is really good on these big flat ovals. Not even the big flat ovals, just flat ovals. New Hampshire, Gateway, they were good.
Yep.
You know, here they're good. So you just see
Richmond.
just a selection of track. Richmond, pretty flat. You just see Toyota showing up and being pretty good there. They just got something
Yeah.
figured out. Rotates the center, drive off
Something.
good. So they just got something figured out. They're dialed in. And then obviously, I think next week's the Toyota sponsored Richmond race, right? The
believe so.
Toyota Owners 400 or whatever. I think typically it is. So you know they're going to put extra work into those races where they're
Just
sponsoring.
means Joey
So-
Logano's going to win it.
Why not? So, all right. So let's move in to our silly season prediction kind of section. So, Jeff.
Quit touching your mic.
Stop
I
touching
literally didn't even mean to do it.
Please don't even look
It's
at
fine.
it.
Yeah, don't even look at it. Just don't move
I'm just gonna.
There you go.
for the rest of the show. All right, so
Put your hands in your pockets, Jeff.
So this is obviously kind of started off. Let's start off with the biggest news that happened recently, and that is Justin Haley going to.
Is that the biggest news?
Who is that?
well? Okay, that's where we're going to start. Let me rephrase that.
right.
We're going to start
It's
with Justin
debatable if
Haley.
it's the biggest.
Yeah, that's true. So Justin Haley is going to be moving from colleague racing to. Where's he moving to? Because I forgot the name of the team.
Rick Ware.
That's right.
Richard Ware.
Richard Ware. That just sounds wrong.
After today's performance,
I mean, he did kind of smack the wall at the very end too.
got wrecked.
My thing is
Same diff.
is that an upgrade or is that a downgrade?
Oh man, there's a lot of debate about that.
If
That's
you're
what I'm
if you're
saying.
gonna say how they're running this year versus how Rick Ware's running this year, downgrade. But they have kind of partnered up with our RFK a little bit. It's not in the same building, but they do have a shop on RFK property where
Right.
they build their cars. So there's obviously some alliance there. I don't know that it's very detailed. But I mean, you see Jensen Button a lot in their stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean that if you're Jensen Button, Formula One champion, are you going to go run for a really low team? But maybe there's an incentive there to help build a program.
Maybe.
you
Yeah,
know?
maybe I mean, Rick Ware, with everything that's happened with them this year, they might be in a full-on, like, look, what we got's not working. Let's try rebuilding. Let's start
They-
over.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
there's-
exactly the word I was gonna say. You hear that a lot in the sports world, whether it's
Yeah.
like hockey or NBA or NFL, where it's like a rebuild. You know, a
Tennessee.
rebuild.
I can tell you right now,
We still rebuilding.
the Orlando Magic has been rebuilding
Still rebuild.
since we came into
22
the
years
league.
straight.
Rebuild from that Alabama loss.
Hey man, it was a good game.
Anyway, so we think, roughly speaking, what are we kind of thinking with Haley?
I think it could be really good, man. I mean, it's hard to say. We'll just have to see what happens. I mean, it sounds like colleague was really kind of struggling, and Rick Ware said, "Hey, we have a deal, sign here." You know, I kind of think this is what I think. I think in the clause of the charter system, it says in there if you run the worst for a couple years straight, NASCAR can, come and take your charter
Yeah.
with no payoff, no nothing. They can just take it away.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a conversation with Rick Ware from NASCAR saying, "Hey, you guys need to. You can't just keep
You are
running
the moving.
back."
You're the moving chicanes for the
Yeah,
rest of the
so-
field.
Even them just getting a better driver that's going to take care of their stuff and get better results and maybe beat out the 78,
Seven.
maybe the 777.
Yeah.
Maybe if you can start out racing some of those guys, take that pressure off of you if it's there. I don't know if it's there.
Yeah.
I would. It may even be self-inflicted pressure, just knowing that there's a bunch of people wanting to get in. NASCAR know Dale Jr. wants in. Who do you
Yeah.
think NASCAR would prefer, Dale Jr. or Rick Ware?
Yeah. That's.
Who's going to do more for the sport? So it could be
I
self-inflicted
don't know
pressure
if you watch
that you're
if
just
you watch
trying
the
to
Xfinity
get away from
races.
it.
It's definitely not Junior.
Yeah, that's just true. But if you only get one car out there, maybe they won't wreck each other.
That is true. That's the plan. That's the goal. Junior, if you're listening, I'm sure you are. If you're listening,
I'm sure he's not.
just one car. Just one car.
We can talk about Junior Motorsports for the silly season.
Yeah,
'cause
go for it.
They talked about it in the Cup. Junior came out. Was it last week or this week?
I'm lost. I'm still on Rick
Basically,
Ware.
he said that there's opportunities to partner, but they don't want to partner. They want to
Right.
buy and be totally
Yep.
independent.
Yep.
They don't want to co-own. They want to own and
How
operate
many
it
cars does
themselves.
Rick Ware have? Is it 2 or 3?
Two charters,
2 charters?
but they
Okay.
sometimes run a third car part time.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't see them getting rid of one.
You see Newman in that car now too,
That's
and
true.
Cole Custer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
you're starting to see a little
they're
more
definitely going
talent come in.
up. But I think, in my opinion, I think it's a downgrade for Justin Haley because I feel like he's already put in the legwork, he's put in the time, he's put in the pressure to build a team, get it to where it needs to run to be like a top 15, top 10, maybe a top 5 if you're lucky. And I think he's just taking a step back. I think he is going back to okay, now I have to bring all what I've learned from AJ, from Chris Rice, with the whole team, bring it to Rick Ware Racing and be like, this is how we go forward. And it's going to take time for them to do that.
Yeah.
I just think he's prolonging his career. I don't know if that makes sense.
I
Might
think
not.
my
It might.
only thing is that the best argument I heard is they haven't locked up funding for next year, and we're already deep in the season to not have your stuff kind of figured out.
Yeah.
You're
you
talking
know?
about for the 31 car?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
For next year, yeah.
for next year. So
they're gonna
if you don't
sign-
have that all sold out, or at least like a majority
We'll
of
get
it
to that.
started for next year, I think you start running the risk of losing your ride to another guy that maybe can sell a majority of the races out the bat. Somebody that comes to mind, Austin Hill. Huge sponsorship with, was it Bennett?
Bennett, yeah.
And United Rentals.
Yep.
So they can probably sell, I'm just going to guess, a quarter of the races out the gate.
Probably
100%.
more.
If not more.
You know?
Yeah, I'd say maybe half, to be honest.
And you may get, because Austin Hill's an RCR guy, you may work out a deal with them to come up and then share some more information and like,
Maybe.
I mean, Justin Haley may have been under the gun that like, hey, the seat's yours if you can help provide the funding, and if he can't help provide the funding, he may know that I'm not going to be able to compete with whoever these other alternatives are.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
You know?
real quick, let me hit some comments on YouTube. Lindsay actually sent in. She said, "I think that we have seen it where better drivers end up going to lower teams, and it ends up helping out the teams. So maybe it's a situation where the team is trying to, someone like RCR going out and getting a Kyle Busch
That's just
to
what I
try
was
to
about
like
say.
elevate their program." Kuzman,
Which it has.
yeah,
Yep.
which that's a valid point. Kuzman basically saying, he said that Colleague, he kind of always sees them as a car that can always win a super speedway, is always kind of in
And
contention,
be competitive at
and road
courses.
courses is one major one. But yeah,
Yep.
so I think those are one. The other, so you guys have anything else about Justin Haley you want to say before we?
The only thing I'd say is I saw an interview with Rick Ware where he basically said we were looking for someone to fill in this 51 car, and he said Justin Haley came to mind because he doesn't wreck his equipment and he's a consistent player. He said, I mean
That's
that makes
different
sense.
from what they're used
That's
to.
Justin
That's-
Haley
I mean-
gets wrecked,
He gets wrecked, but he
and
does
I
not
think
cause
he
the
has
wrecks.
a respect of the drivers,
Correct.
That's
So,
probably true.
probably more than Cody Ware.
Rick Ware's position, he saw that.
He just
and
a little-
I don't think they have to
said-
worry about that anymore.
Yeah,
though.
He said, "This is a guy I would want to fill." I think the 51's their primary car, but I'd say their
thought it was
primary
15
car.
and the
Fif-
51.
I was gonna say I
Yeah.
thought it was the 15 that he was going to.
yeah.
I
So
thought he was
I don't
going
know.
to the 51.
Yeah.
So,
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's
So
down
the
road.
other big news that has come out this week is it sounds like SVG is going to be entering the ring next year. So
well, I mean, maybe.
it's not confirmed
More importantly, he's coming next 2 weeks from now at Indy.
in Indy.
We talked about this last week, right?
Yeah.
Briefly.
Lindsay, really? Are Cody Ware and Rick Ware related?
No, not at all.
Absolutely not.
Cody Ware's Rick Ware's son. He's
Silver spoon.
he got in a little bit of trouble outside of NASCAR, so
Just Google it.
Remember that. Okay.
yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's their business.
Yeah.
Innocent
If you
till
want to
proven
know,
guilty or
if you
something
want to
like
know,
that.
Google it.
But
yeah.
Jeff, that was horrible.
Well, it looks like SVG's got a good spot opening.
Yes.
the 31 car.
So that's the thing is, okay, so SVG, where can he land? What are some areas that we
So
31.
unless you're going to land in a powerhouse team, which I'm kind of putting Trackhouse in that because Ross Chastain wins, SVG wins. They're both. I mean, Ross will be running for a championship. Like they're maybe not like a powerhouse, but they're a strong team.
Oh, I'd say there's
So,
one of the
a
strong-
winning
all playing
team.
together too, right?
If I'm SVG, I don't think I leave the supercar world to go race for Colleague. Because if you run Colleague and you run super mediocre, are you gonna incentivize a
Maybe.
cup ride? Or look at you now, you have a win. So if you come and you run same as Justin Haley, is another team gonna want to pick you up?
Yeah, probably not.
also,
Probably not.
does
Although-
Colleague want like 2 premier road course drivers in there?
Can that help elevate their program?
Okay,
AJ.
let's just say Colleague has AJ, which is a road course.
Oh
driver.
yeah, Colleague. I was thinking Trackhouse. Sorry.
And then they also sign SVG. I mean, that's just 2 road course drivers. That's not really diversifying your team.
No.
Which I mean,
AJ's a pretty decent super speedway driver. I mean,
Which
for
is
what
funny.
it's worth, because there is
I don't-
6 super speedways now.
Which is funny because he
he
hates it.
hates.
He absolutely
how
hates
good are you
them.
going to be?
but he
if you
typically
hate
runs
it?
pretty good.
He's won them. Like that's what's funny.
Yeah.
In the interviews, I was like, "So you're gonna change your opinion?" It's like, "No, I still hate it here." It's like you
Oh,
just
yeah.
won,
He
bro.
hates
I
it.
just want to see SVG on a super speedway and see how he feels.
Oh.
That'd be interesting.
That
Probably
would
be
be
dialed into
chaos.
his radio
Um,
the entire
the
time.
worst.
So another spot that I've heard is replacing Almirola.
That could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
Could
Yeah.
be a
Could.
spot. Could be. I don't know if that ends up being the thing because that would obviously be going to Ford. He's obviously he drives a Chevy Camaro. He worked with Trackhouse, was just a Chevy team. So I don't know.
I mean, the speculation's out there that even a new team's coming in, a new manufacturer.
No, I don't think so.
Another one. So?
We're way too late. If a new manufacturer's coming in, it's not.
They
gonna
would have
be till
announced
25.
It would have leaked. I feel like there'd
Well,
be too
it's
many.
not even
people.
that. It's just there's no way they'd have enough time before 24. Not
Correct.
even close.
No, I feel you. But
It's going to take them a year to develop the engine. That's what everybody says.
At least.
Could be longer. You
So
never know.
I mean, if we hear one, it'll be for 25.
All right, so we got to wait another year for Kia. I just wanted to make
Wait
y'all
another
throw
10
up.
years for Kia.
All right, so what are some other options that we think of people moving around, people going different places?
Oh, man.
Well,
Brad's
Suarez.
definitely going to leave.
Who?
He's going to go back to Penske.
Okay, crazy idea. Toyota, 19 car.
Oh, who's going to take it?
Oh,
Truex
this
is done, bro.
I mean,
John Hunter
if you're,
Nemechek
if you're
would be the
S-
most
but if you're
likely.
SVG, that's a good ride.
That would be.
Take that 19 car.
You know, SVG probably can sell a lot of sponsorship.
Can you imagine
Fosters.
if not even Foster's,
Foster's.
the Australian
The
beer?
Australian beer. The
Go
cursed,
No.
the
Foster's,
cursed
mate.
beer.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to see him bring Red Bull into the sport.
That would be
that
a-
would
that
be
would be cool.
huge.
Man, that would be a
be
great
huge.
paint scheme, though.
Oh, it would look
Foster's
great.
car.
I mean,
Fire.
I know you were talking about Red Bull. That would also be a sick paint scheme. I was talking about the Fosters. I thought that would be so funny, bro. Anyway,
Oh my
nah.
gosh.
Outback Steakhouse.
No,
I mean, we were
I think
talking-
we do see John Hunter next year in the 19, but just to finish the SVG, I mean, unless Trackhouse secures a third charter, I don't think he goes anywhere.
I think he just runs part time. Maybe
Maybe
pulls an
part-time.
AJ, runs all road courses,
Maybe a few ovals.
and maybe, but maybe like the super speedways or something,
Italo.
Maybe.
and does like a part time gig.
Maybe
and
run
then comes in.
the 500, maybe run a Coke 600, something that's going to give him a lot of laps. Run a lot of long races to get you a lot of laps.
Yeah,
You know,
the Coke 600 I think would be a good one.
I
I
still
think that
like.
would be a good one.
Yeah,
I still like Bell going to Stuart Haas. We've talked about that
You know-
briefly before. I don't know if that was on the show or just off.
no,
our
I
own
think that was
thing,
off, but I actually am getting more on board with that.
yeah, I think that
He's-
might be,
I
end
think
up
he's
being what's
pretty open
happening.
about it too.
I think he wants to run dirt.
I heard
and Joe
something-
Gibbs won't let him.
I heard something this week that started turning me away from it, but I can't remember what it was now.
I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, I can see him leaving the team regardless, Joe Gibbs at some point. But like I mean,
yeah, like
it doesn't have to
I
be
guess
Stuart
my
Haas,
question
but
is-
I'm thinking that seems to be if they're in their rebuild stage. I mean,
He
that
could
would
go.
make sense.
He could be going to the 10.
like
How much sponsorship does
SVG Bell and Barry? That's Stuart Haas.
I mean, you have to replace Priest or Briscoe at that
Yeah,
point.
that doesn't work.
I don't think they're going to get rid of Briscoe.
I mean,
I
I
think
don't-
Briscoe's going to have
Briscoe
to want
stay.
to leave.
And Priest,
Priest,
I
I
think
could see them getting rid of.
Maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I don't think the 14 and the 41 are running good, and it's not the driver's fault. Priest is a monster, bro.
he actually
Runs
yeah,
good
he's
in
really
SRX till the brakes started failing. Runs amazing when he races Xfinity. Runs amazing in modifieds. Like the dude is a wheelman. I think the car is not what it's cracked up to be. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
I don't know.
And when he ran the part-time races, when Stuart Haas was pretty good, he ran amazing. Like everybody knows, Priest is a wheelman. So I think this is a product, and Briscoe is pretty good too.
Yeah.
I think it's a product of the 14 and the 41 are terrible. The car, it's just they're so far off, and the 10 is super far off, but has a few moments of brilliance here or there, once or twice, maybe three times a
Lucky.
year.
That's
Yeah.
about it.
Gustavo, when you are asking, Gustavo's got a question, so I'm going to ask you to clarify real quick. When you say, what would you do to bring more sponsors in? Are you specifically meaning like for the cars, for the events, or
He's probably talking about the cars. I
Cars
mean, a lot of them work with like management groups, like Kevin Harvick Incorporated or whatever it's called. His management company, I think it's Kevin Harvick Management or whatever, and they help land you those sponsorships and work that out, and manage your schedules and do those things.
If you're someone like Almirola, he has some kind of connection with Smithfield.
yeah,
I
most of the guys, that's typically how it works.
And some of these guys have been, some of the newer guys coming in, they've been sponsored since they were like 14,
Yeah.
racing
I mean,
dirt and
Chase
karts.
has been sponsored by Napa since forever.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously coming from his dad and stuff like that.
His
already-
dad was never an Napa.
No, but I mean, like already in the sport, obviously he's going to have a leg up because the name is going to give him a
True,
little
that's true.
bit.
That's true.
Maybe not get him all the way there, but that's going to help. So that's probably how the best way to do that. He also says put Ryan Newman back in the Outback Steakhouse
I'm about
car.
it. 39. Number 39.
Outback Steakhouse car.
That would be the
That's a
perfect car
throwback.
for SVG.
That was what I was saying.
Outback Steakhouse.
That would be
we were-
hilarious.
I literally brought that up like 10 minutes ago. Y'all have missed it. I said Foster's.
I heard
You said Foster's.
Yeah, but
but-
Foster's.
I brought it up like.
I heard the Foster's one. I
Yeah,
didn't hear the
play
Outback Steakhouse. Well, we were talking last week
You
about
do a
hey,
Foster's paint scheme or an Outback paint scheme with a little Foster's associate.
Ryan Kuzma,
Bloomin'
new
onion
team.
right
New
on.
And
team.
we were talking, or you guys, well, I wasn't here, but you guys were talking about going to Australia or something like that for like an international race.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that was
Bro,
me? No.
we did mention it last week as a possibility.
yeah.
Maybe.
And so it's like Outback car sponsored by Foster's as
Which
well.
you know
in
what's
Australia.
really funny about that. So I know people from Australia, and they're like, "What is Outback Steakhouse?" And we're like, "I'm like, oh, it's an Australian steakhouse." They're like, "That's not a thing." They're like, there is no. They're like, it's
Typical,
just a
what's
the
steak.
sandwich
It's
you
a
made?
steakhouse
It's like a Vegemite?
that just
Isn't that
Vegemite. Yeah,
Vegemite? Is that a thing?
yeah.
Vegemite.
It's like drinking salt.
Hey, man, it works. I guess.
So we should
I've
somehow
had
acquire
some.
some.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's pretty rough.
We should somehow acquire some, and then like every time SVG wins, we just have to take a
That's-
bite of Vegemite.
That's the new watermelon.
Gross, man. Y'all are nasty.
Oh,
I'm
my
gonna stay a Ross fan.
So Kuzmin saying a new team with SVG and Ambrose is for a veteran.
Yeah,
Oh,
Marcos
Marcos
Ambrose. Dude, Kuzman jumping way down on the
Dang,
nostalgia
man.
train.
Right.
Man.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So I mean, there's. I'm trying to think, man, who else could be moving around this year?
So what do we think? Do we
well-
think Truex is gonna retire? I
Yes.
think he's gonna retire.
Yeah.
if he,
I don't know.
He
I don't
can't.
know.
He can't wait till the championship. He's gonna have to decide in the next couple weeks. He has to
He's-
because they have
yeah,
to start lining up next year. They can't wait. So we'll have an answer in the next. I think we'll have an
Well,
answer maybe in the playoffs.
I will tell you this.
Beginning of the
I
playoffs.
think that 19 ride is probably 90% chance it's going to John Hunter.
Ugh, not about it.
I don't.
I mean, well, who else? Toyota driver. Dominate. I shouldn't say dominate, but doing extremely well right now.
I don't have
In-
anything against John Hunter. He's just boring.
He's
All
like
right, my
he's,
voice is
he's
gone.
like white bread. Just
It's
bleh.
just it's just there. It's
God.
just,
I mean,
they need like SVG. They need like
I
someone
think-
who's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Everybody's kind of getting locked up in contracts. So who do you go?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like it has to be him,
I'm kind of thinking.
or like I
I
said,
don't
an
think
SVG
he'll.
or
I
something
don't think
outside.
Truex Jr. wants to retire unless he can go out on a high note. Personally, but like,
I mean, if he has the
like
chance,
I feel
to.
like if he has the opportunity to win the championship and he loses, I think he'll want to come back. But
Yeah.
like obviously,
If
like
he
you said,
co-
if he has
if
to
he
make
gets
that
in and
decision
wins-
soon, then that's. I mean, it's just what it is.
He's having
but
a really good year.
he's having a great.
it's hard. It's hard to
having
go
a good
out.
year.
When you're, it's
He
hard to
didn't
go
have
out
a
when
good
you're-
year last year, though.
No.
I mean, who's to say he won't have a good year next year?
I don't know.
You know, I mean, that makes me lean towards the might as well go out on a high note.
Yeah, I don't know. I really can't make a decision on that one. I could literally. I'm like Truex. I can't make a decision either. I could see both happening.
It would be sad to lose Truex, though.
It really would be.
that would
Like,
that would be a hard one.
He's one of
But
those.
if you lose Truex and Harvick in the same year, like, dang, man,
yeah, that's a pretty hard.
that's heavy. That's heavy.
that's
That's a
rough.
big blow.
All right, so let's unless you guys got something else you want to add to silly season, we'll move on to our about it, not about it topics.
I had another one. So Almirola, just to go back to that.
Oh, okay.
Do we think he retires?
What are we?
No, sorry. Lindsay's just showing me this. Ryan Priest came over and started decking Corey LaJoy in the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I guess it's on NASCAR's Instagram.
Did he deck him or he's just grabbing him?
I mean, it's kind of hard to see.
I think he's just grabbing him.
Maybe. I don't know.
It,
Hey,
ain't-
that's
it
a little
ain't
bit of
like
fire we need.
remember when Clint Boyer was sitting there just laying into Newman.
It's like Rocco Sock robots in there.
Newman might have been all right after that Daytona crash, but he got softened up by Clint Boyer's
Daytona?
fist. That Daytona crash.
Daytona.
He's grabbing him. He's a little upset.
Oh man, he running over there, man.
I mean, the
I'm not
thing
gonna
is,
stop him
right?
this week.
Like
Well,
we talked about the 14 to 41. If you're not happy, I mean, if you're not running good, you're not happy. I think because Custer's running good this year, I think it proved that the
He's
41
going
was not Custer's fault.
That wasn't the problem.
The 41 is
Yeah.
a 41 car problem. It's a Stewart Haas problem.
Yep.
So I think if
Stuart
Almirola,
Haas has just been off pace like this year.
I think if
last
Almirola
year.
retires, I'm leaning towards Cole Custer comes back.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's got the money.
But then you have
got
a
the money for
young
sure.
lineup like Hendrick did a few years ago. Look where Hendrick is now.
What did Cole Custer get
Yeah,
his?
two
Where'd
of
he
them
get
aren't
his
in the
start?
playoffs.
Was he a dirt driver?
I couldn't tell you.
No, I think he was asphalt.
I was gonna say because
I'm not
you
100%
know
sure.
Tony loves dirt drivers, so that's why I was like wondering.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
That's why I would not be surprised if Bell starts like saying like I want out and I want to go to a team that'll let me race some dirt races. That just makes Tony Stewart just sit over there just going like he's waiting for something like that.
Who else might?
I'm trying to think who's on 1-year deals.
I mean, Hamlin technically is, but
Hamlin
I think-
is. This is
I think
true.
he's
You
coming
know,
back to
okay.
11.
Yeah, but he'd have to because I was
But
saying he can't. He's not
but
going to
you
go part
got you
time.
got. We'll talk about it. But he got another drop in the bucket of being booed at the racetrack. I don't care how much he pretends like it doesn't affect him.
It does. after-
Yeah,
He's
bro.
not smiling.
You saw in his face getting out of the car. He's completely dejected.
He didn't get the
You
flag.
know why?
He
No.
did not go and get the flag up
I'm
at
telling
the.
you, man, he's getting a lot of love off of that podcast. He thought the tides were changing.
Yeah,
He comes
but-
out of that car and he hears all those boos. He probably feels a little defeated. He's like, man, that
Not
50th
to
win.
not to
Especially just to not to, sorry,
Probably
not to-
hurts.
but not to like but 50 wins. You just got your 7th win, most of all time at Pocono. It's a pretty high moment. Got the race win.
3
Exactly.
Daytona 500s.
Yeah, like he's riding that high, and then he gets out of the car and just a roar of boos.
I mean, that was massive.
I mean, things being thrown on the field,
Yeah.
track, whatever.
I thought we were about to see like when Jeff Gordon won Daytona and they were throwing all those beer cans at him.
They
That was
changed
wild,
all the
bro.
seating, man. They moved it all back, probably because of that.
I wouldn't have mind. If everybody else was doing it, I probably would have thrown one at him.
No, you 100% would have.
Maybe.
You would have ran.
Matt, give me your beer.
Jake,
give me your beer.
Jake, I was gonna say Jake doesn't even,
I
Jake
ain't throwing
doesn't
my
even drink
whiskey.
beer. He'd go buy a $10 beer just to
I need a
throw.
6-pack. Come on. Right here.
Jake would go buy.
Cracks it,
I am
swirls
not
around.
kidding. Jake
Best
100%.
$80 I ever spent.
Jake would 100% buy a 6-pack and run down to the fence and throw it during the interviews. Like,
Is there any rules to not take eggs into the grandstand? Is there any rules? I'm just wondering.
we do not need to give
Put 'em
people
in my
ideas.
cooler, put them under the ice. No one would ever see it. My guy doesn't win. Just
Frozen
eggs.
eggs? God.
No, just keep them in the cooler so they're not like rotten because you're in the stands for a while.
Kuzma's like, he learned how to be an arrogant from Kyle Busch.
I mean,
Well, I mean, somebody's got to wear the black hat. You know,
That's true.
the best thing. We'll save it for later.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
think
he
Martin
hasn't
Truex
hasn't
got
locked
off
it up.
easy.
I think Hamlin comes back next year.
I do.
He's FedEx. He's got a couple really good sponsors.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't think
he's
so.
he's with 2311 and Toyota and stuff like. He's sticking with Toyota, so he's obviously. I think he can't go to 2311 and drive for his own team because they'd have to buy a new charter, and so I mean, if that's the case, he's just going to stay with Joe Gibbs.
Or they just
Not
kick someone
to.
out.
I was gonna say not to derail the Denny Hamlin conversation, but I just obviously for future. When Denny Hamlin retires and he wants to do like a Dale Jr. and run part time, can he do that in Cup
Yeah.
Yeah,
with the charter?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Or without charter?
That's the Project
Okay.
91.
Project 91, Jimmy Johnson. I
Well,
see
yeah,
him
but
pulling the
running
Jimmy Johnson,
running for his
100%.
own team is what I mean. That's why.
If the injuries kind of taper off and start to go away, I definitely see him pulling a Jimmy Johnson. type move.
Real quick note though, I will say
Okay.
after watching this race,
oh
the
yeah, Jimmy did
safety
it.
issues,
What am I doing?
the safety issues with the cars, they did seem a lot better at absorbing the impacts today.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The wreck
man.
we talked about that the most was Justin Haley, but he hit on the side of the door, and
Yeah.
that part of the car is never crushed.
No.
So-
but you look at like Austin Dillon.
Yeah, but
that
he
car's
hit, he
destroyed.
hit he hit the rear, the right rear side, and it's kind of turned and hit to the front.
Agreed.
So you saw the rear destroyed, and it obviously destroyed the front. And you
But-
saw a lot of damage from those parts crushing a little bit more, but we still haven't really seen a rear impact like we have with Bowman.
I agree, but I will
But
say
actually, it was pretty similar to Kurt Busch's.
my thing with it though is it's still like I think if that happens in like the first couple races with the next gen car, I think that thing doesn't deform nearly to the level that it does. I think they have been working.
I probably
and the
agree
guys
with
got
you.
out of every one of them got
I
out of
don't,
the cars.
I don't know
and
because
were
it seemed like
seeming
what
okay.
was the most of the damage was revolved around the control arms for the wheels,
I mean,
and
yeah.
those were breaking worse in the beginning of the year.
Well, okay, so maybe
They actually stiffened those up. So I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, we did see who was it that went head on in the wall. Suarez.
Yeah.
We saw way more crunch in the front of the car. That's
Yeah.
the first time we've seen a real kind of square head-on impact.
Yeah.
That the braces
panels.
are. Jeff, stop. Put your hands in your pocket. Those new crush zones.
Yeah.
I think this was the first like real implementation of those being used. So,
Yeah.
not real implementation, but the first real test of.
It was. I think so.
I mean, you saw that car majorly crunched up,
yeah.
but
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, but it did seem like they were getting out. Austin Dillon got out and still had enough energy to throw a helmet. So, there was that.
throw.
Okay, toss.
It was a pretty sorry
It
throw.
was kind of a
I thought he was bowling there for a minute.
So, all right, let's move on to our about it, not about it topic. We've been trying to move on.
I just want to say I'm on the comments for that Ryan Priest video, and everyone's just saying, "Clint Boyer, is that you?"
That's funny.
Like half these comments have something to do with
Clint Boyer.
Clint Boyer.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All
that's
right,
funny.
so let's move on to our first topic. So Austin Dillon, speaking of Austin Dillon, blames Tyler Reddick for his wreck. Matt, I'll go with you first. Are you about it or not about it?
Oh boy, I'm gonna go the side of not about it because from what I saw, Austin Dillon drove down into Tyler Reddick. So that's what I saw.
Okay.
So you're gonna turn down on someone, you're gonna get wrecked. So is that gonna happen? I ain't about it. It is what it is, man. And then you'd be mad about it. All right, well that's on you. I mean that's just how I feel.
Jake's holding it in right here.
Jake wasn't watching that.
And we're
race.
all entitled to bad takes. It's fine.
I'm waiting to hear yours.
Let's go with Jeff.
No, I want to hear Jake's. No, I want to hear what Jake's going to say.
All right, Jake.
I'll go next. So here's my opinion. So, and again, like this is just based off of iRacing a little bit, right?
Here we go.
But
Ooh, I have a great.
when you're that low, speaking about Tyler Reddick,
Okay.
you are gonna have to run the yellow line. You're gonna have to. But as we see them going to the end of the straightaway, you see Tyler Reddick come up a lane and a half and put Austin Dillon tight. And they're tight 3 wide. Austin Dillon has no room. In my opinion,
So he
it
should
looks
lift?
like the arc that he's going in. Austin Dillon is in the arc to take the second lane. This is my opinion. Tyler Reddick was in the same arc. So Austin Dillon did come down, but in my opinion, Tyler Reddick did not give him any room whatsoever. And if Austin Dillon continues to run straight, he's almost certainly going to hit the third lane, even though he's trying to arc the second. He's kind of set up for that and wash up into Brad. And then you're going to have a wreck on the outside.
So he should have just lifted.
Who?
Austin Dillon.
No.
He wasn't clear.
This is racing. Like you can't just shove it on the inside and hope it sticks. It's in my opinion, it's
that's
kind of
just
a
racing.
dirty move. Right? I think Tyler Reddick should have given him more room and
Who's his boss?
rolled the apron. But in my opinion, based off of where he was about to go in, based off of watching the race, running some cup races on iRacing, the lane Tyler Reddick was running, he was not about to run the apron. That's my opinion. And so Austin Dillon came down assuming Tyler Reddick was going to run it. When we saw everybody run the apron, they didn't wash all the way up. You don't have to. You can stay down. But he gives up and gives Austin Dillon zero room, 2 lanes up, and Austin Dillon comes down a few feet and they wreck. So if I'm Austin Dillon, I agree. I'm pissed. It's just a dirty. It's just over aggressive racing, and honestly, not necessary with that many laps to go. In my opinion, that's a green white checker move. In my opinion,
DJ, what do you think, buddy?
Do you want to go? Or
No, I
you want
think
me-
you should go.
Okay. I am not about it. I think it was 100% on Austin Dillon. So here's
Explain thyself.
okay. So
Because if you agree with Austin Dillon, you also agree with Denny Hamlin.
shut up! Oh my
we'll
god!
get to that one. That's
No,
the
I'm
next
sorry. I said that wrong. If you agree with Tyler Reddick
You
in that
agree
move,
with
you
Austin.
agree with Denny Hamlin.
Thank you.
It's the
100%.
same move.
Which is bullcrap. Because hold on, if you send it into Martinsville because you don't brake and shove it in there,
This is not
Like-
Oppenheimer. You just set up the bomb. You just set off the bomb,
if you send it in there full send,
Full send.
you can't just do that. It's just not. That's what they
Why?
do in
It's
the
racing.
but that's what they do in SRX, and they wreck like crazy.
And Denny Hamlin
But it's
won
just.
there.
But it's not. It's not the. in my opinion, it's not the proper etiquette for Cup Series racing. There is hard racing, and it is selfish racing.
Manners.
Proper
This is
etiquette.
NASCAR, sir.
Proper etiquette.
I tell you what, he drove that son of a bitch too far into the corner. He couldn't hold his line.
I think Dale Jr. or Jeff Burton said there's an expectation that when you go into a corner, you're going to take care of your competitor. You can't just go in and take the entire friggin' corner for yourself. I mean, you can, but this is what's going to happen. And I bet you, dude, Austin Dillon is retaliatory.
Oh, he won.
I
100%
guarantee you 45 is going to regret that decision
But
later. That's
to
just
stay in
my
the race,
that's my
Okay.
he
assumption.
should have lifted.
Okay.
Huh?
To stay in the race, he should have lifted.
Nah, bro.
Hey, man. If
So,
he lifted, he would have
This
finished
is why
the
you
race.
don't even win on NASCAR heat. Get out of
So-
here.
It's because
Go ahead,
you
DJ.
take up all 10 lanes.
Well,
Mute him.
Can I mute you? You stalled my entire time. Oh, jeez.
Oh, I forgot I asked DJ to go.
I got triggered.
I was like,
Jeff still hasn't gone. No, so I think based on what I saw, and again, I'm not by any means a racing expert. It looked to me like, okay, the way I'm analyzing this is looking at the two drivers going around the turn. Now, maybe it's an arc thing for the turn, and one has a different arc than the other, but it looked like the two are arcing to a turn. To me, it looked like Tyler Reddick had this kind of arc, and Austin Dillon had this kind of arc, a much sharper, more shallow arc into the turn. To me, Austin Dillon was trying to arc too much
Correct.
compared to Tyler Reddick.
Correct.
And to me, it looked like Austin Dillon, therefore, was moving farther down. I look at it as Austin Dillon moved into Tyler Reddick more than Tyler Reddick moved into Austin Dillon.
Correct. Because Tyler Reddick was in the lead.
And Tyler Reddick was
Austin
in the
Dillon's
lane.
He
there
wasn't
like-
in the lead.
He's washing up. I'm wrecking.
You could.
Are you
could,
even
Tyler
watching
Reddick's-
the same
Tyler
replay?
Reddick's in the lead, and he's just doing his thing. He's like, oh, someone's behind me. Oh,
Are you
wrecking.
even watching the same replay?
I'm not watching any replay right now.
Oh my god, bro.
I'm just going off of memory.
Jeff, your turn. Jeff, what do you think?
after watching, I mean, initially, I would have
Oh,
said
there
this
we
is
go.
all Austin Dillon's fault. I'm kind of on the same side as Jake. After watching the replay and seeing Tyler Reddick come up, I mean, because on the replay, it doesn't look like he's coming up a lot, but on track, when you're watching the in-car view from behind them, you can kind of see he's coming up, like you said, like a solid lane and a half. And it's just like, well, I mean, I think it could have been prevented on either one's account, but like, I don't think that's their
Either
place
person
to do that.
Either person could have lifted.
Yeah,
but they're going.
So I mean,
they're
yeah,
going for
did
position.
Austin Dillon come down? Yes, but like, I mean, Tyler Reddick did kind of start that process of coming up. So when, I mean, I don't know. I would say I'm about it, or no, I don't even know what about it. Or not
Austin
about it.
Dillon blaming.
I agree with Jake's take for the most part. I mean,
I
I
just-
could argue for either one, but I think for the most part, I'm going to go.
Here's
with,
my question.
with that one.
Where Austin Dillon was turning down to make the corner, where the hell was Reddick going? He was still going straight. He wasn't even turning yet.
He was.
How the hell you not even turning yet?
You don't need to.
I think it's because Austin Dillon's arc was so wide that he was turning before he even got there. It's a geometry thing.
You realize this makes no sense.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm telling you, the 45 was driving to the second lane. He was not driving to the yellow line.
DJ's
And
over
if
here
you're
like,
three wide, how the hell are you going to put everybody into the third and Brad Keselowski into the fourth line, which is the marbles where he wrecks?
DJ's out here like, well, if you think of triangles, it makes sense.
This is a triangle track. This is.
Tyler
You know
Reddick
what?
understood
That's
the
a good
assignment
point.
because he finished second. It was the move he needed.
I mean,
I want to take it back. It wasn't dirty, but it wasn't.
it wasn't clean.
It wasn't
It's
clean.
the kind of move that gets your butt whooped, get you wrecked next week. That's the kind
Get
of
a
move it
helmet
was.
thrown at you.
Yeah. I mean, like
Joke's on
Kuzman
him.
just says, like, Dillon should have been upset as he was. I agree. I understand him being upset, but
You
did
read
I?
it
Dylan. Oh, sorry. I got a little heart icon.
Kuzman,
that's
I
in the
love
way.
you, bro, but you're
shouldn't have
wrong.
been upset as he was. Sorry. No, but I get him. Like, I get him being mad about it. Like, of course, like he got wrecked or
And now
he
he's gotta
wrecked
buy
himself
a
or
whole new
whatever.
helmet. It's just silly.
Priorities.
I don't know. I think there's also a different etiquette too of like shoving it in there on a racetrack that's maybe not as fast, but this is 190 miles an hour, 195 into a super dangerous corner. This is one of the most dangerous corners because of brake failures and
Turn one Coda, turn one Indy.
This is
yeah.
well, but I'm talking about like this. I mean, they hit so hard in turn one. There's no soft wrecks in turn one. They're all massive.
I mean, all the hits today were hard in some capacity.
But I mean,
for the most
turn
part.
one on all the series is at Pocono is one of the most treacherous corners because the hits are just huge. The way the banking is and everything. In my opinion, that's just not a position that you want to put somebody in. That's just not. It's just not taking care of your other competitors. I mean, we've seen Kurt Busch, probably retired from Pocono.
Yep.
We've seen Alex Bowman hurt twice, or I guess he didn't really get hurt this year, but we've seen multiple injuries in the last 2 years. It's just like, I don't know. I don't really like the etiquette of not taking care of one another almost unnecessarily.
All right. So, all right, let's move on to our next topic because we're running along already today.
Oh, yeah.
Our next about it, not about it topic. Denny Hamlin says it was Larson's fault.
God.
Jake, you want to go first?
I just read a thing. He's in the press conference saying he still didn't make contact, so I don't even know what to say. I don't know. I'm not about it.
Glasses,
this is exactly what he did to Chastain, and he said it was intentional, right? So it was intentional last year, but this year it's Larson's fault. It's like, I don't know, bro. Which one is it? Like you can't have it both ways. So in my opinion, he ran. I mean, they made contact, and again, the same thing. And I learned this on iRacing. Coming out of that corner, just the way it is, you can't just get on the brakes and slow down. You can't. You literally cannot in that corner. You can't. When we were racing, there was wrecks in front of me, and you try to get on the brakes, and you literally steer straight in the wall. It's just the way it is, the way you roll out, because the corner actually goes down, and you actually come out of the corner uphill and out. So when you hit the brakes, you turn to the right almost. Not a hard right, but it just sucks you to the right. So there's just nothing you can do. Denny Hamlin 100% put him in the fence. It's his fault.
Jeff, you go first, or you go next.
I concur. Same thing. Put him. Yeah, I mean, you put him in the wall last year. It was the same exact thing, man. Put him in the wall last year. Kevin Harvick was in third, like he was last year, except this time he didn't get wrecked. Didn't end his day, didn't ruin his day. So,
Progress.
I mean, but like, look, man, like we kind of said this off camera, but it's like if he had said, like, look, man, I did it for the win, or
it's
I
just
didn't
hard
mean
racing.
it, or even if you didn't, even if you
It's
lied,
just triangle racing.
That is the podcast name.
it's
Just
triangle
racing.
But like, or even if he had lied and said he didn't mean to do it or whatever the deal is, like it would have made a difference. I mean, he still would have got booed because he's Denny Hamlin and no one likes him. But I mean,
You're not wrong.
it would have made a difference in the tension that kind of came out with it. But like the fact that he's like, oh, I didn't touch him. He said I didn't touch him, and then I think on his radio that he said, oh, it was Larson's choice to stay up there. That's what he said.
Which
from what I
is a
remember,
funny
and
way
I'm
to
just
say it.
like, bro, really, dude? Like, I don't know. I can't.
Triangle racing.
It's just a blatant lie, bro.
Yeah.
It's just a blatant lie. It's so obvious. Even the broadcast booth is just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he touched him. Like after the fact. Yeah,
We're just going to watch this just to make sure.
Well, who was it? One of the guys was like, well, I don't know what he's talking about because it's right there.
Yeah, well, he was saying like, oh, okay, so Denny Hamlin is saying that he did not touch Kyle Larson. And he literally watched the replay in slow-mo, and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's touching him.
Yeah. It looks to me like there's contact.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
So, I'll go, and then Matt, you can go after that. So, am I about this or not about it?
Why is this even a decision, GJ?
So here's my thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, here's my
Come
thing.
on, man.
I don't think it was Larson's fault. However,
God.
I'm not mad that he. I'm not
Here we go.
I'm not mad that he made the move. You're going for a win.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's my problem. So, and especially like Hamlin,
Just get out and own it, right?
I agree. He should have just owned it and been like, yeah, so what? Like, play the villain.
It's NASCAR,
you're
buddy.
already the villain. Play into it, man. That's what Kyle Busch did.
So
Kyle Busch has known for years that he's the enemy. He gets out and just like brings on the booze, like bows, like every time. Like, what is it like? When he was at, was it the Bristol intro? And he's like, if something like, let me hear you say boo, and like everyone boo or something like that. And it's like, if you know that's what fans expect of you. Just own up to it and just lean into it.
I wish he would have brought out the old Kyle Busch quote where he's like, if you don't like that kind of racing,
Don't
then
even
don't even
bother."
watch.
Yeah.
Don't even watch.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
what's the?
No, I think so. What I was gonna say earlier is
Yeah.
a buddy of mine texted me, and he said this feels like old school NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
like this is what NASCAR was, and he's right.
Yeah.
Like this excitement, all the drama, like this is what made
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR in the 2000s phenomenal. Kevin Harvick jumping on the roof of Ricky Rudd, you know, Kevin Harvick fighting everybody, you know,
literally everyone.
Brad Keselowski and Kevin Harvick and I think Carl. I mean, everybody fighting. Like it's like this is what NASCAR needs to go back to. I was so glad they didn't penalize Larson for going up and rubbing on Hamlin. This is settling it on the track and letting it go.
I know. Oh, sorry. Before I wanted to point out something Kuzman said. He said the helmet throw was the best helmet throw was Robbie Gordon back in the day.
I think I like Tony Stewart's at Bristol better. It
Oh yeah,
was
but
pretty classic on pit road.
no, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
All
one.
right,
I remember
Matt.
that one.
Matt, you about this or not?
So I'm kind of on the same fence.
Why
like
are you on the fence, bro?
Hold on. When you say you, which one of us?
DJ?
Okay.
Because listen, I had Larson picked in my fantasy league.
See, I had
What?
Hamlin, so I'm okay with this.
So, I mean, it's
Full
kind of
disclosure.
a bittersweet because
Bruh.
I have no way at all about Denny Hamlin. Like he's just a race car driver, but I mean, if you're gonna win the race, that was his opportunity. You got to shove the guy in the fence. Make
You
him
already
get
faster.
loose.
He was already faster.
No, he was gonna lose it off of that.
No,
He was gonna lose it, bro. He was gonna get the straight end,
Nah,
or it was
dude.
gonna happen the same thing that happened during the Xfinity race.
Oh my
They're gonna race
God,
side
bro.
by side, go into turn 2, and
Now Hamlin
Denny
knew that
Hamlin-
was his shot.
That was
it.
his shot.
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
his shot to get the lead and own the race.
Larson was just enough faster on those two tires
Yep.
that they couldn't pass him.
Yep. So I mean, I respect it for that fact. I think it's BS, but he had to do what he
But-
had to do
but-
for the win. I
but-
mean, I lost the win in our fantasy league for
But
it, but
still,
it is what it
8
is.
laps to go though. You still have 8
I mean,
laps to
NASCAR
try.
wasn't
Yeah,
going to
but-
throw a caution either way.
But the-
we clearly saw that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
guess.
Don't worry, we'll
I
talk
think
about
it just
that.
goes back to, and I think we're all on the same page. Like if you're gonna do it, but at least own it.
He can't. NASCAR has already made a precedent. He cannot own. No driver can own
No,
any
I'm
wrecking
not saying
they
you
can
have.
ever do.
I'm just saying you just go to like, man, it was just hard. I got into him a little bit, didn't mean to. It's just hard racing.
What is
Remorseful.
what's
Why risk
the
it?
what's
Why risk it?
Yeah, but what's the go-to phrase they always say? Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate it for him. That's the non-apology apology where it's like,
why?
man, I hate it for him and his guys,
If
but like
NASCAR-
I'd rather-
He
going for the
he
win.
should have put on Earnhardt.
Guys.
Didn't mean to wreck him. Just meant to rattle his cage.
if NASCAR already has an eye and has penalized Denny Hamlin, they're watching him, right? They got their eye on him. Why would you give him any inclination that you did on purpose? Of course he's gonna go into the press. Of course he's gonna say, "I still don't even think I hit him." Even he knows he did.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee you on his
yeah,
podcast.
because
he's
think
gonna
about it.
say,
You know what I
never
just
touched it."
realized? In the replay, you can see the flaps come up.
Oh yeah, he
Yes.
knows, bro.
Yeah, it's like
100%.
that's a pretty obvious indicator
That-
as
that's
a
what
driver
happens
behind the car.
play.
When
the
you get
story.
right next to him and you close off the air and that wheel
Yeah.
and that wheel well, it shoots
You
the air.
have to play the story.
Yeah.
I say Kyle Larson comes
you
out.
can't be mad at Denny Hamlin for that. You have to be mad at NASCAR.
I
I
don't
say,
know.
I
They set
say
the
Kyle
No,
Larson.
because I don't think you get in trouble for saying, "Man, it's just hard racing. We made contact."
I think
No,
he
you don't
could've
get in
said
trouble
it.
for
You
that.
get in trouble.
I don't think so.
No, you
You
don't.
get in trouble for that.
Depends
Denny
on
Hamlin would get in trouble.
What did he
The
got, no, because
SMT.
he got in trouble for saying, "I let go of the steering wheel and wrecked Ross Chastain." Well, you're gonna get in trouble for
Yeah,
that.
that was pretty blatant.
And they came out like, "I didn't really mean that. I was joking," or whatever he said. Like,
It's like, bro, no.
I say Kyle Larson comes out during driver intros next week and says, "Oh, I'm the driver of the number 5 Hendrick car. Denny Hamlin is an ass."
He might. All All right, so let's
The
move.
next generation.
I will say,
But hey, Denny Hamlin's never wrong.
That's true. He's never wrong.
Can we say that was like the best Kyle Larson interview ever?
That was the
was-
best one.
that
I've
was
heard
a
in
good
while.
one.
That was a good one.
So-
You could tell he was really frustrated.
I
pissed,
commend
bro.
him for being as composed as he was.
and he said it
Because he's not a fighter. Remember when Bubba Wallace was trying to
He
freaking
was
kick
like
his
running,
butt on the
run
straightaway?
away. It's like, listen, man.
I
stop it.
think this is a case of
I got a race on Tuesday. Leave me alone.
this incident and the Austin Dillon incident. Neither one of them said, "Oh, I'm gonna wreck him next week, pay him back." They just said, "Maybe I just need to be more aggressive." And they just kind of let it there.
That's all you
And
need
that
to
is-
do.
that
That's
is-
fine. That's fine.
That is pretty indicative of you probably gonna get wrecked somewhere
Nah,
where
bro.
it hurts in the points.
Austin Dillon straight up said it. He's like, maybe I just need to start wrecking people.
But that's
he
what I'm saying.
straight
But
up
it's not
said
like,
it.
"Oh, I'm just gonna pay him back next week."
Oh, no.
no.
Yeah.
It's just a little like maybe I need to be more aggressive.
vague.
Yep.
Vague.
Just,
Keep
just
it
a
vague.
little like.
All right.
Typically, when it's that low key, you typically see something come back.
I mean, that's what
Oh,
happened with
I-
Chase Elliott and Harvick in the playoffs. He didn't say it.
Nope.
But he alluded to it.
He alluded
He's
to
like,
it. Very subtle, just
you know.
yep.
Happy Christmas.
And then when he got
dumped
back,
him in
and
the
then we
roll.
got no, he dumped himself. He got scared that he
Well,
was
but no,
behind him.
because he wrecked him
Oh,
first,
yeah.
and Chase Elliott was on a mission.
Yeah, that was awesome. All right, last about it topic.
Cool.
Jeez. Did NASCAR wait too long to throw the last caution of the race?
Yes.
Oh, I was about to wait for Jake to blow up again.
I'm going to go last.
I'll go first. Yes, that was BS. That was BS on NASCAR. They wanted to finish the race. They were done with the cautions. Already had was it record-breaking cautions? 11 cautions.
Pocono?
At
I
Pocono.
don't-
They
yes.
did not want to make it 12. They threw that caution, waited till they got to the white, turn 2, and then threw the caution and just let it end. It was absolute BS. It was race manipulations on NASCAR.
It was-
Point.
I-
It was
I'll go.
dumb.
I'll go too. I
So does
agree with
NASCAR
that.
get penalized for race manipulation?
I think they should just not have a race next week.
I mean, God.
does any handler get his money back?
Get the NASCAR hauler is not even allowed to show up to the track.
No officials next week. It's just bring what you bring.
Oh, jeez.
Let the fans do it.
All right, Jeff, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say same thing, man. I mean, you have 2 laps to go. You know it's gonna be another overtime restart. You have a car sideways on the track, not even on the apron, on the
moving.
track, not moving. What do? You're supposed to throw the caution. They didn't want to throw it, obviously, because they're like, okay, we're tired of wrecks. But like, how are you gonna have this amazing race and then not want to add more drama to it? It's like, come on,
It's not
man.
even that, bro. Like NASCAR's
Like-
just like, oh, there's a car stopped. Yeah, what's going on up front? Just looking the other
Yeah.
way.
I just don't even know what to say. It's another one of those obvious, like, how are you about it or how are you not about it kind
How
of
do
a
you
thing.
do
Like, how do you
90
justify
Oh, don't worry.
that?
How do you do
How do you
99%
justify
of the race right?
DJ, you better watch your
and
freaking
then
mouth.
just drop the ball in the end.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, and granted, it was still a good race, and like the whole Denny Hamlin,
Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin,
Yeah.
whole him winning. I mean, yeah, whatever, but they gave him the win, and that's what I was saying. It's like you just gave him the win.
They did.
You gave it to him, man. Like
And you could
I
tell
just
second
didn't-
and third were very mad about it too. Because
Yeah.
if there was a caution, I think Truex or
I think Reddick was going to get it.
Tyler
Yeah,
Reddick
and-
was gonna
And Reddick
Might have
said in his
put
interview,
on a challenge.
Reddick said in his interview, like after the fact, he was talking about whatever, and then he kind of cuts to, yeah, and there was a car in the middle of the racetrack on the like sideways in the middle of the racetrack, and they didn't call caution. I don't know what that crap is about,
Yeah.
except that he didn't say crap,
makes no
obviously.
sense.
but
They just wanted.
I mean,
to end
it was
they were
just
done.
it's
NASCAR
just like
decided
Okay.
they were done.
it's one of those endings that just kind of, for me, it just kind of stings a little bit. But I don't know.
All right,
whatever.
Jake, you go ahead and then I'll finish.
Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously, I'm not about it. I think NASCAR's gotten way better with being more consistent and just having better calls in general as far as letting them race. Especially we've seen it like the road courses, things like that have gotten a lot better. Just let them go. But this one was just a major miss, and I'm sure they're going to agree. You know, because we've seen all day Joey Logano had trouble after flat spotting his tires. Alex Bowman, I mean, once he flat spotted his tires, there was zero chance he was ever going to make it back before the field got there. No chance.
No chance.
So it was always going to be a race until they kind of caught wherever he was. So that's why I don't like it. So you were going to, at some point in time, you were gonna miss it. So there's no way. Every time we saw him spun out, all the tires went flat.
Yeah.
Right. So or at least two, and you're barely limping it back 15, 20 miles an hour trying to get back to pit road. So for that reason, based off of what we saw throughout the entire race, it should have been called immediately to get a true natural finish.
And I mean,
Maybe not natural, but a
green,
true
white.
checkered flag, green flag.
we're not
finish.
talking about a caution like 100 feet from the flag stand. Like they were still in turn 3 when they were wrecking, and the caution could have been called. Then they come out turn 3, all the way back to the checker flag, and it didn't make any sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or the white flag, sorry.
There's no way. I mean, like I said, just every time somebody spun out, the tires went down. There was no chance that he was ever going to make it back.
DJ,
And that's why
you
they
better
should
not
have called
say
it right away, in my opinion.
Y'all are gonna kill me.
DJ, you better shut your dirty lips, bro.
Watch yourself.
I think they did the right thing.
Why?
I'm actually for the way they handled it.
Disgusting.
So let me
right.
let me at least explain my thought process. And I could very well be wrong.
You're wrong.
That's
You're wrong.
fine.
That's
I was
okay.
thinking
But
the
here's
same thing.
here's what I'm thinking. So the wreck happens at the back of the field, right? So it's like the last 2 or 3 cars, I think, in the back
Handful,
of the pack.
because there's quite a few.
Okay.
There was a handful that went around him.
Okay, but there's a lot. So Jeff, I can't handle it.
Go
So,
on.
There's a handful of cars. He spins out. Yes, the initial spin out happens right in front of cars, but he clears everything. He's spinning out, but he's off the walls. He's spun out at the back.
Oh, is he
And
now?
it's a huge track.
Yeah.
Okay. They're in turn 3. NASCAR is now at the point where, okay, yes, there's a car that's not moving, but we got a little bit of time. Let's see if he can get it rolling. So they wait to see if he can get it rolling and he can make it back to pit road, because you guys know as well as I do, if they call a caution there and he gets rolling immediately, everyone's going to be like, NASCAR's so stupid. Why'd they throw the caution? They just want more drama. They just wanted to build up this green-white checker, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's going to say
I
that.
would agree with you,
So-
except for one thing. How many times did that happen today? Thank you.
How many times did what happen?
Were they able to drive away on pace to make it back?
There was
None.
none. But
Thank
I'm
God.
just saying. But my point is that's why I think, like, by them waiting now, yes, it sucks because it means they just got across the start finish line and they're basically rounding turn 1 before they throw the caution. And yes, that sucks because it really kind of ruined the race for some guys, especially like Tyler Reddick. But from NASCAR's perspective, the car is there's no cars in the immediate vicinity. It's by itself. He's trying to get, I'm assuming, I don't know if they were in communications with them or not. Maybe they knew, hey, I'm okay. I'm trying to get it fired up. It won't fire up. Oh, I'm beached. You know, my tires are down. Whatever. Maybe NASCAR was still trying to figure all that out. You got to remember, this happens instantly. They have to make all these different calls and figure all this stuff out. Based on what I saw, there was no immediate danger, so there was not a need to throw a caution at that point yet. And that's why I think them waiting was the
All
right
right,
decision.
so a couple things. One, do they know for sure there was not another lap car behind him that could have possibly hit him? Do they know for sure?
I mean,
In that moment. In that moment. Do you say somebody was coming off pit road fixing some damage? Do you know for sure there's not another guy coming?
I can't.
If
answer
you
that.
can't say yes, then you have to throw the yellow.
But maybe NASCAR knew that. Maybe they knew that he was clear. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I'm just
but-
saying as a prerequisite.
Yeah.
You have to know that. The other thing I don't like about it is now you have put the entire field racing towards a mysterious finish line.
Yes.
Nobody knows when the caution is going to come out. Do I take this move? Do I not take this move? Do I dive bomb it into 1, hoping I'm going to get it and hope the caution comes out sometime at the exit of 1, but then I lose more spots? Like, it just,
Right.
it kind of messes up the whole legitimacy of the end, because it's not a clean finish. That's what I like about it. I wish we would race back to a green checkered flag every single race. I don't even care if it's a white flag. You have to finish under green. That's what I wish, because it's a straight up win. Exception being super speedways. But other
Yeah.
than that, it should go back to in my opinion, green flag.
I think it's just tough though because like I said, I feel like no matter what NASCAR does in this situation, they're going to get roasted. They have a decision to where
I don't think so. Be
think about it, how
consistent.
often
You have a car going sideways, he's wrecking. Throw the yellow. If a car is sideways on the track, we throw a yellow. It's black and white.
if that's the case, then there's a lot of times where they don't do that.
The
Or- so
exception
if
being
they-
a road course, because you most of the time spin off in the grass, you don't lose the tires, and you can typically keep going.
depending on the track,
Which
or
we
if
see
there's
that.
sand traps or
But-
whatever.
Okay, John Hunter Nemechek. Why did they throw the yellow immediately?
I don't remember what happened to him. to
He
be
just
honest.
spun out off of one by himself. No contact, no nothing. Just spun out.
I
Got a
to be honest, I
yellow
don't know.
immediately. So why didn't this one a yellow? That's what I'm saying. I don't like the judgment call. Get rid of the judgment call. If you have a car that's wrecking, you throw the yellow.
Yeah.
Unless it's the last lap and you know they can make it back to the checkered flag clean.
Bingo.
That's your only exception.
That's the only thing that I think NASCAR was, I don't want to say mad about, but missed the ball on was the wreck happened one lap too early. If it happened one lap later,
Oh
don't
yeah,
think
it
there
wouldn't have been a
would've ever
problem.
been an
No.
issue.
Nope.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
the way it looks like to me is, I mean, it just looks like
they had plenty of time to throw
you
the
had
yellow.
plenty
They
of
should've.
time, and you had 2 laps to go. They know that the rule is you just rack them back up. It's overtime until you get down to the checker or the green white checker.
Okay.
And it's like
Another
I don't know,
thought.
man. Like
Pocono doesn't have lights.
Plenty of time. Look outside.
I mean,
Plenty of time.
well, we don't live up in the Poconos.
it's
We're in the
still-
same-
But
it's
I'm-
the
the same
yeah,
time
so-
zone.
but-
Tell our fans that we could be there.
Sunset at
Yeah.
Pocono, I read today, was like 8:32.
So okay, so that wasn't. So I was gonna say because maybe that's a thought, but
No,
yeah, okay,
plenty
so
of
that
time.
wasn't it. So I don't know. I feel like what they did was okay. I don't have a problem with it.
I'm
get
not-
it
I'm not
because
gonna be-
the end of the race did suffer because of it, but I'm still okay with what they did.
I was super mad in the moment. Literally super mad.
Oh, I
My
know.
We
face-
know. Oh,
my
we
face
know.
was beat red.
I
I
know.
was
We know.
so mad. My heart rate was all the way.
You screamed and literally scared my kid that was about to go to sleep.
So, yeah, well, I mean, it's your fault for bringing. you know what I'm capable
Fine.
of.
yes.
But I mean, honestly, I'm not too upset because NASCAR, I don't feel like has really got that many calls wrong this year.
Yeah,
So I'm okay with it.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts on it. Is I feel like they did as again. I beat that dead horse, I guess. But yeah, I just feel like they couldn't because if, like I said, if you call it earlier, then everyone starts complaining, and then do we run into a situation like Coda? And maybe this was something they were thinking. Turn one, we're gonna have like 3 or 4.
Yeah, but
Restarts.
we actually got through turn one clean every time except for once.
But then, well, yeah, but not
Yeah,
on
early in the
how many
race.
green white checkers did
The
we
end
have?
was basically a green white checker.
It was 8 laps though.
It was a 3-lap shootout versus 2. No, there was the end. There's a
Oh,
the green
okay,
with
that's
3
right.
to go.
That's right. There was one with the 3.
It
So-
seemed like they were getting through turn one pretty good, except for Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on so we can start wrapping things up to our Kuzman and Friends question of the week. If you guys have a friend or Kuzman and you want to submit one of those to us online, you can do that on Twitter.
You can get your own Kuzman at the merch store.
We have been saying forever we want to make a Kuzman koozie just because I think
Kuzman's koozies.
yeah, Kuzman's koozies.
Question
Just
from
to
Kuzman.
just to make it. So Jake, what is our question of the week this week?
Okay, do we think Denny Hamlin will ever win a championship before he retires?
Yes.
And how many
Yes.
more
No,
years
no.
do we think? Hold on, shut up, man. What the heck?
They don't answer.
Do we think he'll win a championship, and how many more years do we think he'll race?
Ooh.
Yes.
Let's do years first. I could see him doing 5 more years.
That's what I was just about to say too.
How old is he?
5?
Like
I don't know. I
Late-
can see him doing
late
5.
30s?
He's having fun. Maybe not today, but
I mean, he did win, so he
he's-
probably
I mean,
did have
but
fun.
he just started a podcast. That makes me think he's probably invested in that for a couple of years. I don't see him continuing the podcast after he quits racing.
Denny Hamlin is 42 years old.
I could see him going to 45, 46 probably at least.
I'd say it's probably about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I can see Hamlin depending on how well. I don't know. I could see a couple different things. I think probably maybe 5 years probably at the most would be my guess. I could see him winning 2. I'm gonna say 2.
Championships?
Yeah, I think 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think his second one comes with
I could see
when
him
he's
being,
running full time in
if Truex-
23:11.
If Truex retires this year, I could see Hamlin incentivized to stay to mentor the younger guys.
Could be.
my
Really gonna teach him.
my thoughts are
Yeah,
How to wreck Larson
pretty much.
apparently-
without touching
I
him.
mean, Reddick's getting a pretty good
my
lesson.
thoughts are, I feel like obviously Denny Hamlin has come close many times to winning championships, but I feel like when he comes to winning championships, he just does the stuff like he does today in the championship rounds or in the playoff rounds, and it ends up biting him in the butt in some capacity.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm not saying it's all to this extent, but he's always doing something to try to race hard and get
that's
up
a,
there.
that's
He
a
always
great
has
point.
actions
He has
that
beef
tremendous.
with Chastain, which is maybe over. He has beef with Bowman now. He wrecked
That's
him
been
at
going.
Chicago, got wrecked at Atlanta, which really wasn't
Yep.
Bowman's fault. And then he put another Hendrick guy in a very dangerous position, coming out of 3 so loose and packed a bunch of air on him. I get that's how you pass, but it resulted in Bowman spinning out. Which I don't necessarily mind, but if there's a consistent trend of you're doing this a bunch,
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's just he does this kind of stuff in the playoff rounds. Like you see it.
I mean, Hendrick's going to race him like a dog in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying, man. And it's just like, I don't know. Like we always talk about how specifically Hendrick, they're always, in the dog days of summer, they're always kind of like sandbagging a lot and kind of trying different things and whatever and saving their stuff for playoff time. And, you see it year after year. I mean, there's always Hendrick dudes in the championship 4. They're always racing hard. That's when they're going to go get their payback for the stuff you did to them 10 weeks ago. That's just how they roll, man. And so
even I mean, they don't really do a lot of retaliatory. I know
Not-
we saw
yeah.
Chase Elliott wreck Denny Hamlin retaliatory, but they're typically not like that.
not
They're more
yeah.
methodical with they just race you like
Hard.
crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once you race them bad, you start seeing them racing. I mean, Kyle Larson's known for racing people super hard and putting them in difficult positions. It's just what he does.
Yeah.
you know?
So, I mean, as far as whether I think he's going to win a championship, I mean, like I said, if he keeps on this train, I mean, he could get lucky and get one of these times in the playoffs, but I don't see him. I don't see him winning a championship. I think he's going to be this generation's Mark Martin,
I agree.
And then as far as amount of time he's going to race, I could see him 5 years. That was my initial thought. I didn't realize he was 42. I mean, well, I guess I did, but I forgot that he was 42.
Yeah.
He certainly doesn't look 42. So, I don't know. I could see him racing 5 years tops if he's still racing at this competitive level with a competitive team and, is able to maintain his spot on the standings. So, I don't know. So
I think
that's
I
kinda my
agree with
thoughts.
you. I think he's the modern Mark Martin. I don't think he'll put it all together. I mean, it's possible for sure, but he seems to not be able to put it together in the
Watch him
playoffs.
win it this year.
When was the last time he was in the playoff Final Four?
Well, you
Not
almost
last year.
got last year.
Yeah,
almost.
he
But
almost
didn't. But why
Yeah.
not?
Chastain's melon.
He didn't have the melons.
The melon.
Melon move.
Yeah.
Melon move.
I mean, who saw that coming?
No, for some reason they just can't put it together.
He
He's
seems
been
to
in
not be
there-
able to put it together.
Yeah, he's been in the position to win it several times, and he's just not able to.
I mean,
put it
50
together.
wins is incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
To
Yeah.
be 50 wins and no championship,
this-
3 Daytona 500s, no championship, it's unbelievable.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, no
Oh, for
question.
sure.
No
First
doubt.
ballot,
No doubt. And yeah, 50 wins. I mean, in the era that he's raced in is really good.
My
So-
prediction or my thought is he'll probably get another Daytona 500 before he retires, but he won't get a championship.
no, I see him racing until he's 45.
I think that's fair.
That's about it.
45. So you
Yep.
think he's got 3 more?
Because he's got that mentality, and he's came out and said it a few times, where these big legends, these big heroes of NASCAR, like the Jimmy Johnsons.
Oh, he
the
doesn't want to
Kevin
go
Harvicks,
past his prime.
he
What
doesn't want
about-
to go past this prime? I think he's going to try. He's going to find his year where he's going to end good, and he's going to be like,
And then run
I'm done.
part time with
exactly.
Do any of
23-11.
No,
11.
not even that. He does not even like Jimmy Johnson, for instance, doing part-time stuff.
Huh.
He's like, it just hurts his legacy. It hurts
Nah,
who he is.
I think
That
if
might
he gets
change
out of the
once in.
car and
Ah,
he's
yeah, it might
missing
change,
racing,
but
wants to go
I
for a
see
few
him
more
45,
500s
46,
maybe.
That's about it. Once you start seeing a slump, like I'm gonna be honest, like Kevin Harvick's in a slump. He won 2 races last year, and that was it. Doesn't really. He's had some good races this year, but he hasn't won anything.
I
Not
think
like
that
what
just
Kevin
goes
Harvick
back
does.
to Stuart Haas.
I was just gonna
Imagine
say,
if
do we
Stuart
know?
Haas was running good. I think we see another 10-year win by Kevin Harvick because he's just that much faster than the rest of his team.
Yeah.
Do we know what Denny Hamlin's contract with Joe Gibbs is looking
I think
like?
it's up
What
this year.
It's up
It's
this
up this year?
I mean, they're
Okay.
supposedly working.
To be
on
honest,
renewals and all
that'll tell
So
us.
this will be the
probably.
definitive.
that. It'll
yeah.
probably be a 2-year deal if I was to guess.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
2 or 3 probably.
Probably
Yeah.
just a 2, maybe even a 1. He might be waiting to see if a charter agreement works out so he can negotiate a higher rate.
Or even go to 2311. Run for his
Yeah,
own
because
team.
if they get rid of the charters, maybe just go straight to 2311. He'll
Yeah.
probably take FedEx with him.
Yeah. All right.
Probably.
So real quick, Mark
That's a good
says Mark commented in and said 3 years and no championship.
There you go.
For the
Mark.
chump. You got to finish
For
it
the
for the
chump.
chump.
Me and
So
Mark on the same page.
I don't know. It could be. I could go on any of those. All right. Do you guys have anything you want to say before we wrap things up?
Where are we going next week? Michigan?
Richmond.
Yeah, actually, I got a
Whatever.
quick question. Not to jump down like a rabbit hole, but why do we still have tracks that don't have lights?
You know, I honestly couldn't tell
Because
you.
there's only a handful of them now. There's only like 5 tracks on the circuit.
Pocono,
No, it's going to be more than that.
There's Pocono,
New Hampshire,
New Hampshire.
Talladega,
Yep.
every road course.
Really?
Name a road course they can run at night. Thank you.
the Doval.
Yeah, I
Dover.
guess you're right.
Dover doesn't have lights, does it?
Dover does not have
No, it
lights.
doesn't.
But okay, so like the
Does
ovals,
Indy have
like
lights?
what we normally have.
No. Well, I mean, they have lights for the.
Does Michigan have lights? I don't
Do
think
they?
so.
I couldn't tell you.
Oh
So
shit! I
there's
don't
like
even know.
5 or 6 just
There's
ovals that don't have it. Like why?
Because it costs a freaking ton of money.
For
Yeah, but
only
these
one
are
race a
tracks that have been in the circuit on the schedule for years.
Yeah, I don't think there's any
And-
reason why the track shouldn't have lights as a backup.
I
can
think that-
understand
I
think
all
that
I'm
should
saying
be a
is they have
requirement.
sound
Is a
ordinance.
Talladega night race would be.
And
sick.
I don't see
Talladega Nights.
I don't see
actual nights.
why they would install lights at a track you can't run past 9 o'clock at. That makes no sense. Like New Hampshire. 'Cause you said
Okay,
New
yeah,
Hampshire
yeah.
has
Sound-
New
sound
Ham-
ordinance.
sound pollution?
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I get why you don't
Time to
want
leave New
install it.
Hampshire.
But like the rest of these tracks,
Take it
what's
to
the point?
Nashville.
Why? It's just it seems
agree.
weird.
Yeah, I'm with you. It should. It's a
If they're
little
gonna
bit-
invest millions of dollars into safer areas, like you can do lights too.
Yeah, but like lighting at Talladega is stupid money.
Oh, I'm sure it's
That's
expensive there.
Stupid money. And I don't think there hasn't been that many night shortened races because of night.
No,
Not
but it
that
just
many.
opens up a possibility.
Yeah, but Talladega sells out almost both races
I mean,
every year. Why
the
would
other
you, what
problem.
do you got to change?
The other
I mean, there's not
point-
really much point. I'm sorry, DJ.
Oh, I was just
I was
like-
just gonna say there's not much point in putting lights at Talladega because like you put lights at Talladega for a night race and then there's just no street lights around Talladega for people to drive home. It's like they finish the race, shut the lights off at the track, and you're just like, oh my god, he's so blind. He's so
Only my
black
car
out
had
there.
headlights.
Yeah.
Yeah, if only.
Oh god.
Good
Dude.
lord. All right, y'all. I guess we're gonna call it there on that
No,
note.
DJ, what were you gonna say? What I wanted to hear what you gotta say.
Well, my other point was going to be that these tracks have not had these lights for years and hasn't been a big enough issue for them to get them yet. So
Nah.
I don't
agree.
think we're going to see it.
I mean, all these tracks have been rain delayed now, so
They just push it to the next
Oh.
day.
I guess.
And out.
I mean,
Which
but-
ones?
all of NBC's.
Chicago, New Hampshire.
Chicago ran the same day.
Yeah, but they had to cut it short.
That was
yeah,
because
but even
of
at,
lights.
the, even at the pace they were running, they were still going to run out of time.
But if they
The
had
race was
lights-
scheduled way too long.
If they had lights, it would have been fine.
It was in downtown. There was no way. They would definitely had city
okay,
ordinances.
New Hampshire.
City
Sound
ordinances.
ordinance.
Oh, that's true. Dover. I can't remember Dover.
Dover hasn't been shortened.
My voice is.
I'm just asking which races by rain have been messed up and had to be shortened. And lights would have fixed the problem.
Hold on, you gotta let me think.
That's a lot of qualifiers.
Give him a
Where did we
second
race
to-
at 2 weeks ago?
Matthew
I don't even
EXE
remember that.
is
Chicago?
loading.
No, Atlanta.
Quakers.
Shortened by rain. Lights
Atlanta,
lights didn't fix that
Chicago,
problem.
Nashville,
Has lights.
Yeah, that was.
Sonoma, Gateway.
No, it's like the race is coming
Going
up.
back. Oh, coming up. So we got
Richmond has lights?
Richmond, Michigan,
Yeah, that's fine.
Indy,
Michigan does not have lights.
Watkins Glen,
The
All right, so
Glen.
we'll see.
and then we go to Daytona.
So it's Richmond,
needs lights.
Richmond, Michigan.
What?
Indy Road Course, Watkins Glen, Daytona.
So basically 3 wild cards in a row.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's going to
Oh
be
my
a
God.
crazy end.
I
Dal's
think-
probably really happy.
How many winners do we have? 11?
11.
So we'd have to have a
12.
different winner every week to,
Pretty much. And
don't
even
see it.
then, it's still not enough.
right? Yes, there's 5 more races to go.
There's 5 races. So
Oh, boys, we're going to be in Daytona in 4 weeks.
5.
4.
5 weeks.
What?
4.
5, bro.
We leave early in the week, son.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Early in the week.
All right.
Sunday, we'll already be home.
Well, yeah.
Pending no rain. It will not rain. No rain.
I don't think you can say that. Daytona.
Did not
It's okay,
mean
we
to
have
say
lights
that.
at Daytona.
Did not
But
mean
we'll
to
be
say
fine.
that.
I
I
think.
should not have said
yeah.
that.
Hey,
guess
tell me
4.
what y'all think.
4.5.
I think Daytona is going to be so wild this year.
Oh, yes, it is.
Me too.
It's going to be bananas, bro.
It was really good last year as the cutoff race.
Yes.
It was really good last year for the
But-
cutoff race. So
Every year we've seen the aggression dialed up, dialed up, dialed up. I think, and if, based off of what we saw at Atlanta, bro, Daytona is going to be bananas.
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah,
So
it's gonna be a
all
fun
right.
one.
Well, that's a good spot to end it on. So
Cool.
thank you guys for hanging out with us for a little bit. We definitely appreciate it. If you guys are watching on the YouTubes or wherever, find us on Twitter, everywhere, and we'll see you guys next week. See ya.